Over the last few weeks, we've talked about a lot of content: attention versus familiarity, building trust before anyone ever picks up the phone. Well, today, I want to ask a different kind of question. One I don't think most agents actually ask themselves before they hit record. What do you actually want someone to do after they watch this video? Not generally, I want them to like me or I want them to trust me. Specifically, when this video finishes, what's the one thing you want that person to do next? I'm Clint, and this is Creativity That Converts, the show where we unpack the art and strategy of using video to grow your business. This is the space to learn what's working, what's changing, and how to create content that really connects. No fluff, no ego, just real talk that gets results. Welcome to Creativity That Converts. Most agents have never actually answered that question. They just post and hope for the best. And I get why. When you're focused on making something good, getting the message right, looking decent on camera, getting it out the door, the question of what happens after someone watches this feels like an afterthought, something to think about later, if at all. But here's what I think costs you. If you don't know what you want someone to do next, neither do they. They watch, they might even feel something, and then they keep scrolling because there was never anything telling them what to do with that feeling. That's not a content problem. The content did its job. It built trust. It's missing an instruction problem. Nobody told them what came next. So here's the shift I want you to make. Starting with the next piece of content you create. Before you even think about what you're going to say, ask yourself one question. What do I want someone to do when this finishes? And the answer is going to be different depending on the video. And that's actually the point. There's no single right answer. There's a right answer for that specific piece of content. Sometimes the answer might be comment a word below, and you can let an automated message start a conversation in the DMs. You've probably seen this on Instagram. Comment info and I'll send you the details. That's set up through something like ManyChat. And it works because it asks almost nothing of the person watching. One word, that's it. No call, no message. They have to write themselves just a comment, and suddenly a conversation started. Other times, the answer might be head to a specific landing page where they can leave their details for something more specific, like a guide or a checklist. Or it might be a download this here. Or even book a time directly. Or in some cases, simply go to the checkout, the full episode, if this is a quick clip pulled from something longer. None of those are universally the right move. They're just different tools for different moments. And most agents have never even considered which one fits which piece of content. Here's what actually matters, more than which tool you pick. It's that you picked one, deliberately, before you hit record. Because most agents skip that step entirely. They make the content, post it, and hope something happens. And when nothing does, they assume the content didn't work. But often, the content worked exactly as intended. It built the trust. What was missing was ever telling the person what to do with that trust. So I want you to start asking this question every single time as part of how you plan your content. Not as an afterthought once it's already filmed. What do I want this person to do the moment this video finishes? Sometimes it'll be a comment that triggers a DM. Sometimes it'll be a link to a landing page. Sometimes it'll just be a watch the next one. But it should never be nothing. It should never be left for them to figure out on their own. So here's what I'll leave you with. Everything we've talked about over the last few weeks, the why behind the content, the familiarity you're building, the gap between attention and trust, all of that matters. But none of it finishes as a job unless you've also decided what happens next. If you're not sure whether your content is actually doing that, whether there's a clear next step in what you're putting out, or whether it's just landing and going nowhere, that's exactly what the scorecard we've built will help you see. You'll find the link in the show notes or head on over to myvideoproducer.com.au/links and you'll find everything from the show on that page. Hope you all have a great week and we'll see you back here next week.